At first, I didn't notice her. That wasn't unusual. On Station Halcyon, not noticing people was practically a survival skill. The place was a crossroads of the galaxy, trade routes overlapping, species mingling, languages colliding in a constant hum of life. If you paid attention to everything, you'd go mad in a day. I was just another human engineer assigned to maintenance duty on the outer ring. Fix conduit leaks. Reset gravity stabilizers. Patch hull scars from micrometeor impacts. Honest work, quiet work, invisible work.
Which suited me fine.
Aliens passed me constantly. Tall avians with glassy feathers, insectoid traders wrapped in envirosuits, sleek aquatic species floating in anti-grav harnesses. None of them paid much attention to the human with a toolbox and grease-stained gloves. None of them except her. I didn't know her name then. I didn't even realize she was watching.
But she was.
Every time I crossed the central market deck. Every time I sat alone in the mess hall. Every time I worked late shifts, humming old Earth tunes while rewiring junction nodes. She was there, standing just a little too still, looking just a little too long. And I never noticed because I had no reason to believe anyone would. The girl who observed. Her name was Leary. I learned that much later. She was from the Varelian clade, a species that valued observation above all else. Where humans spoke first and thought later, Varelians watched. They learned. They waited. Leary was young by her people's standards, newly assigned to Halcyon as a cultural archivist. Her job was to study lesser-known species, catalog habits, emotional responses, social patterns. Humans fascinated her. Not because we were powerful, not because we were advanced, but because we were inconsistent. And I fascinated her most of all. I didn't posture.
I didn't demand respect.
I didn't try to impress anyone. I just helped. When a vendor's anti-grav stall malfunctioned, I fixed it without asking for payment. When a nervous avian child got separated from its parent, I knelt down and waited with them until security arrived. When an old Varelian translator unit failed, I spent my break repairing it instead of reporting it broken. Leary recorded everything. She told herself it was professional interest. But something about the way my shoulders slumped when I was tired, the way I smiled to myself when a repair finally worked, the way I never realized anyone was watching, that stayed with her. Middle, the moment of danger. I noticed her for the first time on a bad day. Station Halcyon went into lockdown without warning. Red lights flashed. Gravity fluctuated. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut across the ring. I was in a maintenance shaft when the explosion hit, some kind of sabotage near the power core. The shock wave threw me hard against the wall, knocking the breath from my lungs. Alarm screamed. Containment breach, the station AI announced. Evacuate immediately. I tried to stand. My leg didn't cooperate. Pain flared white-hot, and I realized something had crushed my lower leg under fallen conduit plating. I was stuck. Minutes passed. Then more. The emergency lights flickered. The air grew cold. I remember thinking, so this is how it ends. Quietly. Unnoticed. Then movement. The shaft entrance shimmered, and a slender figure slipped inside, moving with unnatural grace. She knelt beside me. Large, luminous eyes met mine. "You are injured," she said softly, her voice melodic but uncertain, like she was translating emotion in real time. "Yeah, I managed." "You could say that." Her gaze dropped to my leg. Her hands hovered, unsure. "You should not be alone," she said. I forced a smile. Story of my life. Something in her expression shifted. Concern, maybe. Or something deeper. She activated a small device on her wrist, projecting a stabilizing field around the crushed metal. With careful precision, She lifted the plating just enough for me to pull free. I gasped as the pressure eased. "Thank you," I said. "You didn't have to." "I wanted to," she replied. That stopped me. She helped me limp out of the shaft just as rescue teams arrived. Before they could ask questions, she stepped back, already fading into the crowd. And just like that, she was gone. The questions began. I asked about her afterward. No one seemed to know who I meant. "A Virelian girl?" security said. "Lots of those on the station." But I knew it was her. Because the next day, when I returned to work with a brace on my leg, I felt it again. That sensation. Like someone was watching. This time I looked. She stood near the observation windows, pretending to study the stars. When our eyes met, she froze. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then she approached. "I am Leary," she said. "You are human engineer." "Evan," I replied. "And you saved my life." Her cheeks, smooth and faintly iridescent, darkened in color. I later learned it was the Virelian equivalent of blushing. "I only did what was logical," she said.
"Funny," I said.
"Most people don't risk themselves for logic." She didn't answer that. Instead, she asked, "Why do you help others when there is no gain?" I shrugged. Someone's gotta. That answer stayed with her longer than anything else I ever said. The bond that formed. After that, she stopped hiding. She would sit across from me during meals, silently observing as I ate. She'd walk beside me during repairs, asking careful questions about human habits. Why do humans sing when alone? Why do you apologize to machines? Why did you smile when the conduit failed again? Because if I don't laugh, I told her once, I'll lose my mind. She processed that for a long time. In return, she told me about her people. How Virelians rarely formed emotional bonds. How attachment was seen as inefficient. How she had never had a friend before. "You watched me long before we spoke," I said one day. "Yes," she admitted. "I wanted to understand you. And now..." She hesitated. "Now," she said, "I want to understand why you matter to me." Before I could respond, the station shook again. This time, it wasn't an accident. The threat from within. A rogue mercenary group had infiltrated Halcyon, aiming to steal classified navigation data. Fighting broke out across multiple decks. Civilians panicked. Security was overwhelmed. I was helping evacuate a section when a blast sealed off the corridor behind us. Leary was with me. Smoke filled the air. Lights flickered. "Stay close," I told her. She nodded, but when enemy footsteps echoed nearby, she did something unexpected. She stepped in front of me. "Leary, what are you doing?" I whispered. "Protecting you," she said calmly. She activated a hidden Virelian defense implant. Light flared, forming a shimmering barrier just as blaster fire tore through the corridor. The mercenaries retreated, shocked. When the danger passed, she swayed. The device overloaded. I caught her before she fell. "You didn't have to do that," I said urgently. "Yes," she replied weakly. "I did." Medical teams arrived moments later. As they took her away, she reached for my hand. "I was always watching," she said softly, "because you showed me something my people forgot." "What's that?" I asked. "That caring is not weakness." Ending seen at last. Leary recovered quickly, but nothing was the same afterward. The station returned to normal. Life moved on. But I noticed her now. Every time,